I bought my dream beach house at 32. Not because my parents helped me, not because I inherited money, not because anyone believed in me. I bought it because I left. Left the shouting, left the manipulation, left the "you owe us" guilt trips. For 12 years, I built my life from nothing. Long nights, 2 jobs, no vacations, no help. And the day I finally posted a picture of my ocean view balcony, my parents didn't say congratulations. They said, "When can we move in?" They didn't ask, they demanded. And that's when I decided if they wanted a welcome to my new beach house, I'd give them one they would never forget. Now tell me something. If your parents tried to claim the home you worked your entire life for, would you let them in? Or would you remind them exactly why you left? Comment below. What would you do? And if you love emotional, powerful stories about strength, boundaries, and unforgettable revenge, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you never miss a story that hits straight to the heart. Now, let me tell you what happened that summer in Santa Cruz. The first morning I woke up in my beach house, I cried. Not because I was sad, but because it was quiet. No doors slamming, no criticism floating through thin apartment walls, no mother sighing dramatically because I didn't appreciate sacrifice, no father reminding me that I owed them everything. Just waves. The house sat just outside Santa Cruz, perched on a cliff where the Pacific stretched endlessly into blue. It wasn't a mansion, but it was mine. White wood siding, wide glass windows, a wraparound balcony that caught golden sunsets like they were painted just for me. I ran my fingers across the kitchen counter. Marble, something my mother once called a waste of money for people who aren't important. I smiled at that memory, because I was important. I had worked 2 jobs while finishing college in Austin, waitressed at night, interned by day, lived with 3 roommates who fought over refrigerator space. My parents? They told relatives I was confused and too independent. Translation? I stopped obeying. 3 days after I posted my house photos on Facebook, my phone buzzed. "Mom, beautiful house. Proud of you." I stared at the screen. That sentence had never existed in my childhood vocabulary. Then another text came. "Mom, your father and I were thinking, since it's near the beach and we're getting older, it only makes sense we move in." I laughed. Not a happy laugh. The kind of laugh you make when something is so absurd your brain refuses to process it. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, Dad called. I let it ring. Then he left a voicemail. "You wouldn't have anything without us. We sacrificed our lives for you. It's time you returned the favor." There it was, the debt. The invisible contract I never signed. Growing up, love in our house was conditional. Good grades, temporary approval. Question authority, cold silence. Choose your own path, punishment disguised as concern. When I moved out at 20, my mother told me, "You'll come back, they all do." I never did. And now, 12 years later, the girl who would fail without them owned oceanfront property. The irony must have burned. At first, I considered ignoring them, blocking numbers, changing locks, but something inside me, something tired of running, wanted closure. Not screaming, not drama, just truth. So I texted back, "If you'd like to visit the house, you're welcome to come next weekend." 3 dots appeared instantly. "Mom, We'll bring our suitcases. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I smiled, because they thought they were coming to claim something. They had no idea. I had prepared a welcome they would never forget. They arrived in a rented USV, 2 large suitcases, 1 carry-on, and the same entitled energy they'd carried my entire childhood. I watched from the balcony as they stepped out. My mother removed her sunglasses slowly, scanning the property like a real estate inspector. My father whistled. "Well," he said loudly, as if claiming it already, "this will do." Not, "This is beautiful," not, "We're proud," just approval. I walked down the steps calmly. "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad." My mother hugged me stiffly. My father patted my shoulder like I'd just finished mowing his lawn. Inside, my mother immediately began evaluating. "The furniture is modern, but cold. You should have asked me about curtains. This space could fit a larger dining table when we host guests." When we host. I let her speak. Every word was data. Every assumption was proof. That evening, I cooked salmon and roasted vegetables. They didn't offer to help. My mother sipped wine. My father asked financial questions. How much did this place cost? How much is your mortgage? Do you even understand property taxes in California? I answered politely. I also watched something change in his eyes when he realized I paid cash, no mortgage. Silence fell for 2 seconds, then my mother said it. "Well, since you're clearly doing so well, it makes sense we move in permanently. We could sell our house and simplify." There it was again. Not "could we," but "we will." I folded my napkin. "I actually prepared something for you both," I said gently. My mother smiled. "Oh, good. We were hoping you'd thought this through." Yes, I had. The next morning, I showed them their room. It wasn't the master bedroom. It was the smaller guest room on the far side of the house. No ocean view, no balcony access, just a comfortable bed and neutral walls. My mother frowned immediately. "Oh, I assumed we'd take the main suite. We're older. The stairs might be difficult." The master suite had been my dream. Floor-to-ceiling windows, ocean sunrise from bed, private deck. I met her eyes calmly. "That's my room." She blinked. A small crack. My father stepped in. "Don't be selfish. We raised you." And there it was. The sentence that defined my childhood. Don't be selfish. Translation: don't have boundaries. I walked to the living room, picked up a folder from the coffee table, and placed it in front of them. My father opened it casually. Then his face changed. Inside were documents, printed emails, screenshots, old messages, conversations from 12 years ago. Messages where they told relatives I was unstable. Texts where my mother said I'd fail and crawl back. Emails where my father refused to co-sign my student loan because I needed to learn humility. I watched their expressions carefully. Then I spoke. Not loudly, not angrily, just clearly. "You didn't invest in me. You didn't support me. You didn't believe in me." I leaned back slightly. "So you don't get ownership now that it paid off." Silence. The ocean waves filled the room. My mother's voice trembled slightly. "Why are you attacking us?" "Attacking?" I almost smiled. "I'm not attacking. I'm clarifying." I slid one final paper across the table. It was a printed rental agreement. Short-term stay, 2 weeks maximum. House rules included no financial interference, no relocation plans, No claims of ownership, respect of private areas. Violation results in immediate removal. My father's face turned red. You expect us to sign this? Yes. My voice didn't shake. You're welcome here as guests, not owners. My mother's lips tightened. We are your parents. And this, I replied softly, is my house. My father stood abruptly. This is ridiculous, after everything we sacrificed. I met his eyes. What exactly did you sacrifice? He froze. I continued. You didn't invest in me. You didn't support me. You didn't believe in me. I swallowed carefully. You sacrificed control. That's what hurts. The room shifted. For the first time in my life, they had no leverage, no financial hook, no emotional dependency, no guilt strong enough to override ownership. My mother stood slowly. So this is who you've become. I nodded. Yes. They didn't sign. Instead, they packed that same afternoon. But before leaving, my mother paused at the doorway. You'll regret pushing us away. I walked to the balcony and opened the sliding door. The ocean breeze filled the house. No, I said quietly. I regret not doing it sooner. The SUV drove away, and something inside me finally unclenched. 3 days later, my aunt called from Phoenix. Apparently, I had humiliated my parents. Apparently, I was ungrateful. Apparently, they told everyone I forced them out of their rightful home. Rightful. The word almost made me laugh. Because what they didn't know was that I had recorded the entire conversation. And this time, I wasn't going to stay silent. When my Aunt Linda from Phoenix called, I already knew why. My mother never fought directly. She recruited. She's devastated, Aunt Linda said dramatically, after everything your parents did for you. I leaned against the kitchen counter, staring at the ocean. What exactly did they say I did? A pause. They said you threw them out, that you denied them a home, that you've become cold. Cold. Interesting word. Boundaries often look like coldness to people who benefited from your warmth. I didn't throw them out, I replied calmly. I offered them a 2-week stay, as guests. Silence. That's not how they told it. Of course not. Because the truth doesn't generate sympathy. Victimhood does. 2 hours later, I saw it. My mother had posted on Facebook. No names mentioned, but the implication was clear. Sometimes the children you give everything to forget where they came from. We raised her. Now she won't even let us stay in the home we helped her become capable of buying. The comments flooded in. So ungrateful. Kids these days are selfish. You deserve better. I didn't react immediately because anger would make me impulsive, and I wasn't impulsive anymore. I was strategic. That night, I rewatched the video I had recorded during their visit. Every word, every entitlement, every demand. Not for revenge, for protection. 12 years ago, I had no proof when they rewrote history. Now I did. Instead of responding emotionally, I made a calm post. Short, clear. I love my parents. I invited them to visit my home. I offered them a temporary stay as guests. I did not offer permanent residence. I worked alone to purchase this home. Boundaries are not disrespect. No attacks, no insults, just truth. Then I attached a 45-second clip. The part where my father said, "You wouldn't have anything without us. It's time you return the favor." The internet did the rest. Within hours, the comment section flipped. Wait, they demanded to move in?
That's manipulation. She set boundaries. That's healthy. Parents aren't entitled to their adult children's property. Even distant relatives began messaging privately. I didn't know that's how it happened. We were only told their version. Because for the first time, there was another version. Mine. 3 days later, my father called. I answered. Not because I was afraid, but because I wasn't. You embarrassed us, he said flatly. No, I replied. I corrected the narrative. You aired private family matters. You made them public first. Silence. Heavy. Tense. You've changed. Yes. And you think you're better than us? I looked around my living room. The sunlight, the ocean, the peace. I think I'm healthier than I was. He didn't have a response for that. A week later, my younger cousin Emma messaged me privately. She lived in Denver. I need to tell you something, she wrote. We scheduled a video call. Her face looked nervous. They're in debt, she admitted. Who? Your parents. Apparently, they had refinanced their home twice, maxed credit cards, took out personal loans. And when they saw my beach house, they didn't see pride. They saw rescue. Suddenly, it made sense. This wasn't about family closeness. It was about access. I drove to San Jose the following weekend, where they still lived. Not to argue, not to fight, to close the chapter. We sat at their kitchen table, the same table where I'd once been told, you'll never survive on your own. I placed a folder down. Inside was something different this time. Not evidence, a proposal. I won't let you move in, I said calmly. My mother's jaw tightened. But, I continued, I will pay for a financial advisor. I'll help you restructure debt. I'll help you find stability. My father stared at me carefully. You'd do that? Yes. But you won't let us live with you. No. The boundary stood. And this time, they heard it. My mother looked smaller somehow, less powerful, less certain. You don't need us anymore, she said quietly. And for the first time, it didn't sound accusatory. It sounded scared. I softened slightly. I needed you to love me without conditions. That's all I ever needed. The room went still. My father looked down. My mother blinked quickly. They didn't apologize. People like them really do. But something shifted. Respect doesn't come from control. It comes from consequence. Months later, I stood on my balcony in Santa Cruz watching the sunrise. The house was still mine. The ocean still loud. But inside me, silence. Not tension. Not fear. Just space. My parents never asked to move in again. We speak occasionally. Carefully. Measured. And for the first time in my life, they understand something clearly. I left. I built. I succeeded. And I decide who enters my home. If you were in my position, would you have let them move in? Or would you have drawn the same line? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you love powerful emotional stories about strength, boundaries, and unforgettable life moments, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you never miss the next story that hits straight to the heart. Because sometimes, the strongest revenge isn't cruelty. It's success with boundaries.